Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bhuvi. This originally was the video I recorded for April month, but I got really sick by the beginning of March and was hospitalized, and I was and still recovering from it. I'm fine by the way, as of this date. I'll talk a bit about what happened later in the video, so stay tuned. So, I wanted you guys to know that it's never late or too late to do anything like sing, dance, paint, skydiving, skimming, etc. Anything you want, you can do or achieve that. So, take this as a small lesson from me and do what you have been putting off for various reasons because time doesn't stop for anyone really. It's been a really long time. I think been about like 1.5 months by the way, and I told at the start of this year that I wanted to try and post videos consistently. So, coming back to the video, this spread was actually meant for April, but as you can see, like I have made some changes for in May. So, I actually did all the layout for my March spread last month and was ready to film it one day. But I was about to go to a concert that weekend. So, I thought maybe I'll just film it once I come from the concert that same week. But guess what? I got very sick on the same day as the concert and I couldn't even go, and I had to be admitted in the hospital for a week. I literally was in a life or death situation. For those who don't know, I am a type 1 diabetic person, been for 12 years as of now. So basically that means my pancreas is dead and I have to like stab myself daily multiple times with an injection which has a needle, which is not much of a big deal because it's small and I got used to it, using it for like a decade. So, yeah, but I have to stab myself multiple times a day, injecting myself with insulin. So, yeah, I have a dead pancreas and I have to like keep injecting myself, stabbing myself multiple times of the day to keep myself alive. And if I miss a dose, it'll be fate. That's my life now. That's my whole life right now. So I had something called ketoacidosis. It's a serious condition where proteins and ketones get accumulated in the body and doesn't get excreted. I got diagnosed while I was 14 years old while I went to a doctor for a different issue. So I have been managing and living with it since then. This time I was a bit careless and felt very sick, which resulted in me getting admitted in the hospital to get treated. I'll explain more about this in my other channel, Yours Movie. I'll link it down in the description below. So, in this video, my theme for this month is the game Among Us. After I was discharged from the hospital and came home, my younger brother called me to play the game with his friends. I believe the game was famous during the Corona/COVID period and it just faded away as time went. So, when that happened, I felt happy playing with him and his friends. So, I thought I'll make it a theme for a month. And what better time than now? Summer break, the time where families go to vacations, cousins join together and play all day long without any fear or worry in the world. So I wanted my cover page to look like the map containing the main room with the emergency meeting button, electrical room, cafeteria, etc. But with a dark blue background like the space. So I started mixing the colors to get the similar vibe and started painting. I'll put an inspiration pen from the Pinterest to show the type of dark shade blue I was going for. But I didn't realize it until I finished a coat of paint and turned the page over to see that the mild color got soaked and bled into the previous page. At first I was shocked and I didn't know what to do, but I started seeing error 404 in front of me because I clearly remember trying this paper out with water paper medium and it didn't bleed through. I'll show that I thought for a while what to do because I couldn't carry on to the next pages since I drew some intricate outlines in the upcoming other spreads and I was so lazy and frustrated to redraw it. So I made my mind to paint the background in another watercolor sheet and stick it onto my journal. So I took out two watercolor sheets and traced out the outline and started painting it in the dark shade of blue I found suitable. But what do you know? Even that paper started to blend and formed an unusual shape, so I had to stick the sheet in the blue paper and paint it. I don't know why I didn't stop here and just find a black sheet of paper and stick it in my journal, sprinkle some white paint, and call it a day. I just went about painting the dark blue I mixed. I started on the other spreads while the sheets were drying to paint another coating. I have seen other creators on YouTube that say to first finish all the other spreads and then come to the cover page at last. But I think in my case, I better start with the cover page so that I'll know what to do if ever I make a mistake. So the next month was monthly logs, and my aim was to make it look like the task logs of the crewmate. I knew I could not make it good if I ever painted it in the dark gray, and I didn't want to repeat my mistake. So I left it as it is by just sticking some stickers I had regarding the theme. I was pretty satisfied with this theme, and I didn't name the heading as boring as monthly logs. Instead, I named it as door log slash movie, like I'm logging in my daily highlight of the day as tasks. The next one was the habit tracker. Here too, I named it as the mini preview instead of the habit tracker and just mapped out the days and habits I wanted to follow. I had an image slash scene in my mind and wanted to replicate it exactly as it was, and I think I did it pretty good. I originally wanted to paint the emergency meeting button scene here, but the space was insufficient, so I settled for the death of the crewmate slash impostor thing and painted it with acrylic paints in the bottom of the spread, more like a border. I loved how it turned out. By then, the background for the cover page, aka the spaceship, was ready. So I stuck the blue paper in my theme as spaceship sheet. I then added another layer of paint since it looked so pale and like faded. So I just made up another batch and started painting it. It was just one sheet though. The other sheet that I painted was not exactly what I wanted, but still, it was like if you can see it in real life, you'll know that it is blue. So I just did that, and I tried taking the sheets off the blue paper, but you know, I totally forgot I stuck it. So then I cut it off and stuck it in my journal. I misplaced my glue tape again, so yeah, I couldn't find it. I searched my whole room for the tape, but I couldn't find it, so I just thought like I gave up. I literally gave up and used my glue stick. It was a bit messy and sticky in my hands, in my journal, and all. But yeah, I had to use it. People who use glue sticks know the feeling. Let me know in the comments whether you use glue stick or glue tape. And you can see here that my journal is kind of worn out. I have not used it much. You can see like I'm not even like a quarter of my weight done, but still the edges have been worn out. There have been scratches. I think the material of the journal is leather kind of stuff. I don't know. It's not completely leather, but I don't know what kind of stuff this pink material of my journal is. It keeps like falling apart even if you scratch it with your hands or even the fingertips. Some pieces you can like it crumbles and falls apart. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking of like buying a fabric people do for book covers. I'm thinking of doing that, but let's see. I don't know if I can do it. Most of the part was just mixing and finding the right shape. I'll just cut to the chase and show you the final result, since I think the border, cafeteria, electrical supply, the map not quite showing on the camera. So I'll just finish and cut it. I drew the outlines of the places with paint and marked all the necessary items. I didn't want to use the black pen and ruin the feeling of the cartoonish feeling, so I just went with the flow of what came to my mind at the time. I couldn't also fit the calendars here, so I just thought I'll use the monthly log as the calendar, and I felt like this is a bit too bland, so I wanted to add the vents, the crewmates standing and doing their tasks, etc. So I chose a bunch of different colors and drew small dots or small circles, and which indicated the vents, the crewmate slash impostor doing that kind of thing, etc. Like I told in the beginning of the video, this video was originally planned for April, but since I couldn't like post it on time, I changed it to May. You'll see the final result at the end. I had to switch my desk light on since like I started filming this around in the afternoon, and by the time I finished all the spreads, painting, covering up my mistakes and everything, it was around like 2.5 to 3 hours. So the room got a bit dark, and my mom, she shut the door and I couldn't get any natural light in, so I just switched on the desk light to have a bit more of a lighting. I don't know if it is better than the natural lighting or not, but I think I like the natural lighting a bit better. Went to draw and paint my emergency meeting scene. I'm using the spread for the allister method and going to use the 2 pages. I now know better than to use watercolor in this journal. I actually used some in here, but not much like how I did in the cover page. I really how all these have turned out and proud of myself. It was very fun and I would recommend it to someone who wants to have fun while reminiscing about the times you played with your friends or siblings. Plus, it gives you a challenge if you are someone who paints only minimalist things. I'm no big artist, but I really enjoyed painting these. I think I did a pretty good job here. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments. So that's all for this video. I'm planning something exciting for next month's bullet journal theme, and I'm reading a book right now. Actually, I'm rereading a book which I actually finished it last year, but I got into it again and wanted to recreate it, and I think it'll maybe help polish my art skills too. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe and follow along to see all of my shenanigans. Bye bye.